ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਗੌੜੀ ਗਵਾਰਰੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾ। ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਪੈ ਕੀਟ ਪਤੰਗਾ, ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਗਜ ਮੀਨ ਕੁਰੰਗਾ, ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਪੰਖੀ ਸਰਪ ਹੋਇਓ, ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਹੈਵਰ ਬ੍ਰਿਖ ਜੋਇਓ। ਮਿਲ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼ ਮਿਲਨ ਕੀ ਬਰੀਆ, ਚਿਰਨ ਕਾਲ ਏ ਦੇ ਸੰਜਰੀਆ ਰਹਾਉ। ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਸੈਲ ਗਿਰ ਕਰਿਆ, ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਗਰਭ ਹਿਰ ਖਰੀਆ, ਕਈ ਜਨਮ ਸਾਖ ਕਰ ਉਪਾਇਆ, ਲੱਖ 84 ਜੋਨ ਪਰਮਾਇਆ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਪਇਓ ਜਨਮ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ, ਕਰ ਸੇਵਾ ਭਜ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਗੁਰਮਤ। ਤਿਆਗ ਮਾਨ ਝੂਠ ਅਭਿਮਾਨ, ਜੀਵਤ ਮਰੈ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਪਰਵਾਨ। ਜੋ ਕਿਛ ਹੁਆ ਸੋ ਤੁਝ ਤੇ ਹੋਗ, ਅਵਰ ਨ ਦੂਜਾ ਕਰਨੈ ਜੋਗ। ਤਾ ਮਿਲੀਐ ਜਾ ਲਹਿ ਮਿਲਾਏ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਏ। ਜੋ ਕਿਛ ਹੁਆ ਸੋ ਤੁਝ ਤੇ ਹੋਗ, ਅਵਰ ਨ ਦੂਜਾ ਕਰਨੈ ਜੋਗ। ਤਾ ਮਿਲੀਐ ਜਾਲੇ ਮਿਲਾਏ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਏ। Sangat ji, thank you for joining today's Sangat of the Divine Light's weekly discourse. And we're so blessed to be here in this Sangat in the here and now. Each and every one has the blessings of the divine by being here. The very life that we lived is a blessing of the divine. And this is a blessing that's been pre-sent, so we can truly experience who we are and realize our true purpose in this life. Then we have the divine's blessings in that we found this Sangat, found that true Sangat, that true association where we find our inspiration, our conviction. And here we realize what our true purpose is. The scriptures have told us that without the Sad Sangat, without that inspiration in our life, it's simply impossible for this mind to comprehend the divine. It's simply impossible for this mind to be colored in the divine's name, in the divine's grace, in the divine's blessings. Anyone that's realized the divine, anyone, they have done this through this holy association, by associating with those that have known. And through that Sangat, with those divine souls, we have this opportunity to walk this path to the divine. The scriptures of time and time have told us again that this human birth, this life that we have, it's a real precious gift that doesn't come again and again. Manas janam dulamba hai, wohi na barambar. It doesn't happen again and again. In fact, it's extremely rare. As the Gurbani has told us, do not waste any breath. Do not waste a single breath that we take. Do not waste our breaths in a way that will take us away from our true self and our higher purpose. So Sangatji, this is the second talk that we're doing on the topic of karma and reincarnation. Members of the Sangat have asked us to explore this topic in more detail. And with the Guru's grace, with the Guru's blessings, this is a real humble attempt to explain, to talk what the scriptures have spoken about, karma, and in particular reincarnation. Sangatji, nothing's possible without the divine's blessings. If we take the Guru Granth Sahib, for example, but any of our scriptures, if we take the Guru Granth Sahib, you'll find the reference to the divine's blessings on each and every ang, as we say, not page, but ang. In each and every limb of the Guru, we'll find that reference to the divine's blessings, Gur Prasad. And these blessings, this prasad is in abundance today. With this beautiful Sangat, And this is where we truly come alive. In the Shabad that I recited at the beginning, the Guru has informed us that for countless lives, we've lived various different existences. We've had countless lives, countless in number. And not only that, for many of these lives, we've lived in the animal kingdom. For many of these lives, we've existed as vegetation, as plants, as trees. Each and everything has that soul, that one divine soul running through it. Not just that, but the stones, the pebbles, the rocks. We might think these are completely stable. They don't have any vibration within them. The Guru says they do. Even the soul of the divine lives within these. We've traveled such a long journey, the Guru has said, through far lands, meaning far lives, to get to where we are now. As the Gurbani has told us, countless times we've given birth, countless times we've died. And there have been countless times, countless lives where we've joined with various different sanghas, with various different gurus. As the Gurbani says, Ketya ke baap, ketya ke bete, kete gur chela hue. They become fathers of many, the Guru says. They become sons of many, and they become the disciples of many gurus. Meaning countless times we've gone through this journey of birth and death. This life is an opportunity, our time, our moment, where we can realize who we are, to realize our origin, to where we come from, and connect back to that source, that one source of the divine. And it's in this life, the Guru says, where this mind comes to realize who and what it really is. And when the mind drops its wants and desires, and when that one mind finds that place of stillness, when it finds its true contentment, when it's realized this, then and only then do we achieve real liberation. Let's realize this, Sangatji. Liberation is not something that comes after death of this physical body. No one has found liberation after this body's gone. Most of our understanding of heavens, paradises, and liberation, they all center around the idea that something happens after the body dies. The Guru is actually telling us that this liberation, this freedom is something we find in the here and now. This liberation, our ultimate goal, is something we can achieve right here, right now, in this very life, and whilst we're still alive. So when someone has died, we say they've gone. But let's think, what has actually gone? The body is laying in front of us. What's actually disappeared? What's disappeared is that soul that's flown away. The body's here. Everything we associated with the person is right in front of us. It's that soul that's traveled. And imprinted on that soul are all the impressions, the perceptions that have been painted on the canvas of their mind. And this is what is meant by karma. As the Gurbani tells us, Jaisi kalam vudi hai mastak, taisi jiyad hai paas. As the divine has written on their forehead, so shall it be with your soul. Whatever has been inscribed on our mind, on our soul, will travel with us in our further existences. Whatever's been attached to this mind will be written in our karma and our future karma, and it will be played out. It is this that we take into our future experiences, Sangatji. So I imagine it in this way, that when we fall asleep at night, we wake up in the same place. And the same, when we die, we simply wake up with the same mental impressions, those same perceptions that we've stored from the past, but just in a new body. And from there we carry on. And so when the Guru speak of finding liberation in the here and now, and in these very moments, if there's something that we want to experience, if we want to experience liberation later on, Sangatji, then we need to find that liberation in the here and now. And once we find that liberation in the here and now, when we're sitting in the divine's presence, when we're realizing the divine within us, when we're seeing the divine in absolutely everyone, then we simply merge into that divine. We break free from the cycle of reincarnation. But where we still have those wants and desires painted on our soul, when we still have these things that build up our karma painted on our soul, we'll continue in this journey of life forms, the countless life forms, going through all of these desires and experiences, because all of these have been recorded on our subconscious mind, and we spoke a bit about that last week. And once these have been retained, we will create that reality in our future, until once again we have that desire to go back to our true home, back to our origin where we've come from. When we have that desire, that thirst for that liberation to just completely be one with the divine. And in this Sangatji is the whole understanding of what karma is and its interplay with reincarnation. Understanding karma, for those that were unable to attend last week, whatever's been written on this soul travels with us in our next birth. And in accordance to that, we get our next body, our next experience, our next relationships, our next entanglements. All of these come out of our previous accounts, which have been written on our soul. And then these experiences are mixed with whatever we've written before, and then whatever perceptions we're creating in the now. So as Guru Nanak Dev Ji has told us in their Japji Sahib, they've informed us, Purni papi akhn nahe, kar kar karna likh le jaho, ape beej ape hi khaho, nanak hukmi abo jaho. And the literal translation of what Guru Nanak Dev Ji is singing and what we recite every day as Sikhs. Virtue and vice do not come by mere words. Actions repeated over and over again are what are engraved on this soul. So karma's got nothing to do with what we say or just the simple actions that we do. It's the intentions that we repeat again and again and again are what are engraved in the soul that become our perceptions. Then Guru Nanak Dev Ji has told us, Ape beej ape khao, for you shall harvest what you plant, you shall sow what you reap. Nanak hukmi avo jao. And in accordance with the divine plan, that natural order, we come into this world and we go into this world and the cycle of reincarnation continues. Sangatji, it's our repeated thoughts that become our habits. These habits that become our nature. It's these repeated decisions and thoughts that make up our subtle image. When we talk about the subtle image, it means who we are, what we do, what we like, the decisions we make. All of these things make our subtle image. And in accordance with those thoughts and those desires, we simply travel on. And if we think about this for a little while, Sangatji, then if we understand this, then we realize that we are the creators of our own suffering. Everything that we experience now is an experience that has been created by our thoughts and our perceptions. Sometimes we like to blame others for our problems, for our troubles. But realize this, that anything that we're receiving is a product of the decisions that we're making. The attachments that we put onto certain situations and our thoughts that lead to that suffering. These are all things that we're doing ourselves. There's no one else to blame. And then what happens, Sangatji? It's just like a fragrance that travels in the air. We have no control where that fragrance goes. Where that scent goes, we've got no control. Nor can we physically stop it. Nor can our intellect change its direction. In the same way, this mind, when it leaves this body, it will travel into its next experience and no one will be able to stop that. The mind that's consumed with greed will look to fulfill its greed. If it's consumed by desires, it will look to fulfill those desires. If its focus is on attachments, on lust, on sex, on wealth, wherever its sponsoring thought is, it will simply continue on that journey searching for those experiences. It's why, Sangatji, the spiritualists have told us, the scriptures have told us, that this path is one that has to be relentless. You have to be relentless in your pursuit. It requires repeated effort to change. Just by telling the mind once, it's not going to change direction. It's a repeated effort, because the mind has gone through various different experiences and thinking a certain way, and only by repeating those messages again and again and again and again will it change its direction. It's why so much emphasis has been placed on continuous meditation, and it's why the Gurbani continually repeats the same message to the mind. Remember, remember, remember the divine. Simuru, simuru, simuru sukhapavu. Simuru, simuru naam bar and bar. Again and again and again, remember, remember, remember. Because all this repeated meditations, all these repeated simrans, all these repeated times we come to the Sangat, all of this is to change those vibrations and directions of our mind. One person asked me once, why does the Guru Granth Sahib Ji repeat this message again? Why does it go over the same thing again and again and again? And it's for this very reason, that the whole Guru Granth Sahib, that scripture, is a complete, ever-flowing meditation. It's a continuous meditation. And in that meditation comes a repetition. And with that repetition, the mind becomes centered, because if you just tell the mind once, it will not center, nor will it agree. All of this is to change the vibrations, the directions of our mind. For whatever our thoughts are, especially in our last moments, Sangatji, everything that we do is just that, for that last breath. Wherever our thoughts are in those last breaths will become our destiny. And even in our last breath, the spiritualists have told us there's still hope. There's that thirst to be in the presence of the divine. But equally, in those last breaths, we can be subjected to the desires of the mind. And if we allow that to take root, Sangatji, that will become our onward destination. The only way we can protect our last breaths is if we protected our breaths in our life, if we protected our time in our life, if we've developed these repeated habits, that repeated nature, that becomes who we are. Only then in our last breaths will we end up remembering the divine. This is why the greatest of saints, they've always informed us to be completely watchful of our perceptions. The thoughts and promises and that we create and that we make, be ever so mindful of those. They're forever guarding their heart. They wouldn't even allow the most latent of desires consume their mind, consume their attention. They won't let anything flow from this, because even the slightest ripple of karma, could force this soul into a rebirth again. Just as I'm speaking, I'm remembering an account between two great saints. One is by the name of Sant Seva Singh, and the other is Baba Puran Singh of Birmingham. And Sant Seva Singh Ji were renowned a very great, very humble saint, and touched many lives, and they've even been known to continuously serve and serve and serve. And they were speaking to Baba Puran Singh, and they were talking about their ambitions to create more Seva projects, to do certain things. And Baba Puran Singh Ji turned to Sant Seva Singh and said, yeah, it'll be done, but you're going to have to come back to do it. Quite simply, Baba Puran Singh Ji was again advising them, be careful of your promises. To fulfill those promises, you will have to come back again. Let's speak about this more practically now, Sangatji. Whoever we are, whatever we do is a product of our attributes. Whatever we do is an awareness that we've remembered from our past. Have you noticed, for example, Sangatji, some of the talents, the gifted talents that children have? I'm really pleased, Sangatji, that my nephews have joined the school today, and one of them in particular. When he was younger, he would do these amazing things with origami. Now, all kids are making things all the time. But he will always do these things with origami from a very, very young age, and he will make some really intricate things. And again, have you noticed any of these other children that we see around us? They're constructing intricate things with their hands. They've grasped the most sophisticated pieces of music. But similarly, there are countless of us from a young age who have developed that path of devotion. I've seen many examples of children whose parents try their hardest to push their children away from spirituality. But like the pull of a magnet, that energy and attraction is just too strong. Those children end up inspiring everybody around them, their parents and everybody. So like my nephews, one would completely just be making these things out of origami. The other one had such a like for sport and was just very, very good, very athletic, very from a young age. How does this all happen? Quite simply, they've traveled with their previous messages, their previous memories, and almost immediately that product, the product of those mental impressions, starts to become visible from a very young age. These mental impressions create such an intense vibration that not only are they inspired, but through the Sangat they inspire others. And this answers us why some from a very young age have such a pull to spirituality without any push from anybody. But others who haven't developed those mental impressions, haven't developed that nature, for them it's either a completely far concept, an alien concept, or something that comes much later on in life. Once we've done Sangat, once we've had that association, once something has taken light in us. And this is why Guru Nanak Dev Ji has told us that according to our karma, we're either near to the divine or we're far from the divine. Karmi apu apni ke nede ke dur. The divine is ever present. They're always with us. But it's us that are either near or far because of the results of our emotions and perceptions. Ke nede ke dur. We recite to Sikhs every day. Bhagat Kabir Ji, the great saint, expands on this further. They say, Purv janam hum tumre sevak, ab to mitya na jai. Kabir Ji is saying, in my past life, I was your servant then too, but now I cannot leave you. What that means is when that mind has reached that stage of liberation whilst we're alive, there's nowhere else to go. Once you've come to that place of stillness, your journey ends. You get to that place of merger. You become the divine. You merge with the divine. You don't exist yourself. But what Kabir Ji is saying here is that for previous lives I've served the divine, but I hadn't reached that place of stillness. But now in this life, nothing is coming in our way. Not even the smallest of fleeting of desires is coming in my way. Ab to mitya na jai. Nothing is going to take that awareness away from me. And the same thing here is Kabir Ji saying that I've built up this nature, these habits, these emotions, this predisposition to remember the divine, to come into Sangat, to be a spiritualist from my previous encounters with your blessings. And when those blessings are coming to this life and I'm building on that spirituality, I'm building on that Sangat, and now this life is yours. In the same way, where the ever-flowing pen has captured and recorded our spiritual memories, our soul will automatically look for those experiences, for those interests. This is where those that have been in Sangat, those that have been in Sangat in the past, and those that have had a spiritual connection with someone or one another, will might search for that in their next life. Kabirji is saying, I served you previously. Let me continue to serve you. Understand this in this way. This is why we say that Sangat that we have is preordained, predestined, because it's come from a blessing of the past. Largely, as has been designed by the divine, we have arrived in this Sangat because of our past connections, because of these past efforts, because of your sincere efforts to cultivate spirituality in your life, Sangatji. You've been blessed with this opportunity here and now. And then the decisions, the active thoughts, the karma in this very moment is what's leading you here, what leads you to your future experiences as well. Now, Sangatji, we all belong to different faith traditions. We've all been on various different spiritual journeys. But our shared connection of faith, of love and oneness is what's brought everybody here. I actually asked Babaji this, who's our mentor, the one who's brought all of this to life, the one who's been our guide, the one who's the image and light of the divine themselves, who served the Guru with their heart and their soul. And I asked Babaji, I said, Babaji Swan Singh Ji, you show so much love to everyone, immense love. How is it possible for someone to love so much? And Babaji replied, son, this is because we're not meeting anyone new. We've all met people before, we've all met before. We've all had some connection with one another. We've all been one for some time. We're all sitting as one divine family, they said. And when we go on this path, such is the pull of love that will instantly draw you to the Sangat, to that experience, to that divine experience. What is there not to love about anyone? If we examine ourselves and those around us, we will find countless Sangatji who may display behavior that you might see as being a bit strange, a bit animalistic. And that's completely far away from their divinity, but Babaji would only see love. But if we look at our own characteristics, where have they come from our previous experiences? The excess attachments, the greed, the lust, the desires, all of this in excess is similar to the animals in the wild, and which is why the Guru has called this animalistic. But something within that is because hidden in all these experiences is this animalistic awareness. These become dominant in our lives, and until we have the blessings of the Sangat, until we have those divine blessings and we adopt those divine values and virtues and create these new behaviors and nature, we'll get entrapped by that circle of birth and death. And because of this human life has been said to be difficult to obtain. We must understand that this karma, this reincarnation, is an automatic process and not something that we actually search for. The law of karma will put this into effect automatically. We don't have to do anything about it. But once it's happening, once you're in that cycle, like we said, that fragrance will go everywhere just to search for its next place. And we won't be able to pull it back. The aim of reincarnation, the aim of karma, we sometimes think is to find our past connections. We think we need to use this karma or reincarnation to search for those people. Our purpose and our only purpose, Sangatji, is to find the divine. This is the only purpose of this human life. Nothing else is of any use to us other than to meet the Sad Sangat and remember the divine. This is our time, this is our chance, this is our moment. This is the purpose of our soul. Everything that we have this moment now is for us to experience the divine in the here and now. But we often think that we need to find those people, those souls that we've had a connection with in the past. But Sangatji, even those past connections are no use to us in our dying moments. Even these, the Guru has told us to break away from. It's useless to create attachments here. Only those karma, those mental impressions we have drawn in the canvas of our mind will travel with us. Nothing else is of any use. As Bhagat Fariji has told us, Veko banda chalya cho janiya de kamne Farida amr jekite duni vich darge aaye kam. Fariji is saying, look, that mortal being's been taken away and they're carried on the shoulders of 4 people. Nothing's going with this person who's going. Only those good deeds done in this world will be any use for us in the hereafter. Meaning what? That soul is attached to it. will be of any use, not the body and not anything that we've attached as body. Whilst we're on this topic of karma and reincarnation, we also need to be very careful, Sangatji. There are many so-called spiritualists in the name of religion and name of spirituality that will use karma, karmic debt, reincarnation in all sorts of emotional, spiritual blackmail. They'll try and force you into making life-changing decisions, parting with your money. I've seen too many examples of this firsthand, where those that themselves are drowned in this world, those who are themselves misguided, who have their own insecurities and frustrations, are putting them on you, but with the disguise of karma, with the disguise of a karmic debt. I've seen people being forced into relationships and forced into situations because someone's convinced them they have a primus kava that they need to resolve. Please be aware. Do not make decisions out of fear, or duress, or force. Following a spiritual path, Sangatji, doesn't mean you become completely suggestible to what everybody's saying to you. The Guru has always told us, fall back to the wisdom and the scriptures or the guidance that you're given in your scriptures. Go back to your meditation. Talk to the Sadhsanga. You do need to search anywhere else. You don't need to look anywhere else. So please do not part with your money or force yourself to do unthinkable things in the hope that your karma will be removed. Karma will only be removed or erased with the grace of the prasad of the divine, and that comes through their repeated blessings, which we can achieve and attract through our regular prayers, through our service, through our meditation, by changing our own thinking and our habits. Guru Bani Sun Malagavai, by listening to the scriptures, the Bani, the Naam, by repeating those meditations, Sun Malagavai, that filth we've caught on our mind will be lost, will be erased. There's no other way. Padhiya mat papa ke sang ho tope nave ke rang, Guru Nanak Dev Ji has told us in Japji Sahib. That soul that's full of pap, full of mistakes, o tope nave ke rang, that be washed away with the power of Naam, with the power of meditation, with our Shabad mantra. There's no other way. This is a path of love. This is a path where that love of the divine burns away our karma. Now, we all belong to different traditions, or different faith traditions. Some of you will support the idea of reincarnation and others don't. And what I find astounding is that many argue on this point alone, and there's much strife in religion over this particular topic. Many people will try to get into debates. I've been in debates where people have tried to argue with me on this point, and they're thinking that it's their spiritual duty to debate on this topic. I once had a group of 10 people corner me just to talk about this very thing, and what was more apparent was their own lack of faith and insecurity than any attempt to dive into their wisdom. And what I shared with them there is what I've got from the scriptures, from the Gurbani themselves itself, and it's what I share with you today. And what I explain calmly and honestly is that none of these arguments about reincarnation, karma actually really matters. None of it matters. Doesn't matter where we've been from, where we were from. Doesn't matter where we're going. None of it matters. Regardless of where your thoughts are on reincarnation, whether your faith believes in it or not, what's common in all of our scriptures is that the one message that comes again and again is forget the past. Don't be defined by the hurt of the past. You can't change it. Ignore the thoughts of the future, for it's unseen. The only thing we could do is protect our here, our now, our present. As Bhai Gurdas Ji says, Vartaman vich vartada hovanhar soi parvanna. The spiritualist lives completely in the present. Ke hazar hazur hai. The divine is completely in the present, here and now. Happy such is here right now. Happy hosi jai na jasi. Happy, they're here now. Hosi, they will always be. Jai na jasi, they'll never go. They're already continually creating. In the same way, we're here in this moment. Let's save our moment to be completely in the present and then accept what the future may hold. This is what happens when we remain completely stable with our emotions, stable-minded, come to that place of liberation, because those that are liberated are the ones that are living completely in the present. Only by protecting this moment do we protect and change our future karma. Only by listening in the now do we fully experience every aspect of the divine. Coming into the present to be totally living the divine's embrace will only come when we control these thoughts and our desires. The divine doesn't actually need our repeated meditations or simrans. The meditations that we do is for us to realize the divine. The divine doesn't need it. The divine doesn't ask us to do Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Ram, Ram, Allah, Allah, Allah. That's all for us. It's for us to realize that inherent power, that vibration that's flowing through all of us. And when that effort that we put in and the divine's grace, that prasad meet, that's when we pulled out of this transmigration. That's when we pulled out of this reincarnation. We come to that door of the divine and we achieve that liberation whilst yet alive. I would like to finish with a small account to explain some of the past life experiences that we might remember. So, in Birmingham, and I won't mention any names here, but my friend's son, he was a very adorable child, still is. But when he was coming to the age of 2, you will see some strange behaviors in this child. He would like to sit alone. He'd always make gestures like he's traveling somewhere, like he's going to see someone. He'll be talking to someone. And no one had an idea about what he was doing and what he was saying. And as he started to develop further, he would start saying things. I need to go to the jungle. I need to go to the jungle. I need to feed the soul. I need to feed the soul. Again, really perplexing. No one will understand what he's really saying. Now, this family, they followed the tradition of saint that I mentioned today, Baba Puran Singh. And whilst they respected all other saints, their focus was always on Baba Puran Singh, on this tradition. However, as fate would have it, they ended up in another temple, and there they followed another saint by the name of Baba Nand Singh, who was a very great saint. Now, Baba Nand Singh was known to meditate in silence for hours, for months sometimes, and would spend a lot of time in the jungle on their own. And what would happen is Sangat will go and visit them in the jungles, wherever they were meditating in silence. Now, when this child saw a picture of Baba Nand Singh, he became completely ecstatic, and he was only just under 3. And at this point, he was telling everybody, that's who I go and visit in the jungle. That's the one who calls me to the jungle. And after that, Sangatji, he would come out with some amazing things about Baba Nand Singh, some memories. They were almost like memories of Baba Nand Singh, what he's serving them, what Baba Nand Singh is saying to them. And these had historical backing as well, that what he was saying was actually true to what we know of Baba Nand Singh's life. He would talk about how Baba Nand Singh would stand. He would talk about where they would sit. They would talk about how they would meditate. This is the age of 3, Sangatji. Not only that, but this child would then hunt people out in the Sangat who he thought would understand what he was saying. He would totally ignore everybody else. And he would run to them and he would say, do you know Baba Nand Singh? And he would start speaking to you about it. Only 3. He would go to school and he would get his teachers to type Baba Nand in Google to bring up pictures, and he would put them in a scrapbook. All of this was a previous memory, Sangatji. At one point, I saw saints speaking to this child, saying, what's Baba Nand Singh saying to you? Can you explain what they're saying to you? Because they were trying to get these memories out of this child. In the same way, Sangatji, there are those blessed souls that will remember their past lives. But even then, that remembrance is of no avail, because it's about protecting the moment, the here, the now. But from there, we have that inspiration, that guidance that we get in our life, that we're building on countless of experiences. Now, looking at this child is a very devout child. He's in the Sangat, he's serving the Sangat. But where his awareness is, who knows? Many times he'll be crying that I need to go to this Gurdwara, I need to go there because Babaji's calling me. Babaji's calling me. I'm conscious I'm going over time now. But one particular time was that a family member of theirs was very unwell. And this child, they said to the child, haven't you asked Babaji? Haven't you asked Babaji to protect your family member, your auntie? And his response immediately was, Babaji's working with Guru Nanak Dev Ji and giving all their power as they can. He explained it in his own way. He's giving all his power to my auntie. And lo and behold, Sangatji, it was an aggressive cancer that she was suffering from. But literally just the day before this aunt passed away, this child then randomly said to everyone, Baba Nand Singh has informed me now. He goes, he's used all the power that he can use. That's all he can use now. And the next day, although she was ill, but it was unexpected, she passed away. Because there was some divine connection there from the past that he was experiencing in the here and now. And these are the things that give us goosebumps, Sangatji. But these are the experiences that we find when we sit within the Sangat. And with these words, Sangatji, I beg your forgiveness. Let's make this world count. Let's make this life count. Let's meditate on the divine and protect our moment. Thank you very much. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.